Sometimes, the smallest spark in the darkest night can light up the world. In a small dusty village, where broken houses stood like forgotten memories, there lived a little boy named Rafiq. His clothes were torn, his feet bare, but his eyes, they shined brighter than the stars. Every morning, before the sun rose, he would run to the nearby market to sell tea with his father. His father was a poor man, but he always said one thing: "Rafiq, we may be poor, but never poor in dreams." Rafiq wanted to study, but life didn't give him that luxury. While other kids went to school, he watched from the window, his heart aching with desire. Every time he saw a school bag, he imagined himself carrying one. But instead, he carried a kettle of hot tea. One day, as Rafiq served tea near a construction site, he saw a young engineer directing workers. The man wore clean clothes, held papers, and everyone listened to him with respect. Rafiq stood there frozen. That moment changed his life. He whispered to himself, "One day, I'll be like him, no matter what." That night, he asked his father to buy him an old book, just one. His father smiled sadly and said, "Son, dreams are heavy, but your shoulders are stronger." And so, Rafiq began his journey, under streetlights, on torn pages, with no money, no support, only a burning dream. Days turned into months and months into years. Life was not kind to Rafiq. His father fell sick, and Rafiq had to take over the tea stall. Between customers, he would sneak in a few minutes to read, memorize words, and solve math problems written on tissue papers. People laughed at him. "Hey tea boy, you think books will make you rich?" they mocked. Rafiq didn't answer. He just smiled, because he knew silence was his strength. One rainy evening, a schoolteacher stopped at his stall for tea. She noticed the pile of worn-out books beside him and asked, "You study here?" Rafiq nodded shyly. The teacher was amazed by his handwriting and his knowledge. She decided to help him. Every evening after her job, she came to his stall to teach him for free. For the first time, Rafiq had someone who believed in him. But life tested him again. His father passed away. The world felt empty. For days Rafiq didn't touch his books. But then he remembered his father's words, "Never be poor in dreams." Wiping his tears, he got up again. He promised his father's grave, "I won't stop till I make you proud." He studied harder, sometimes without food, sometimes without sleep. There were nights when hunger and exhaustion almost defeated him. But every time he looked at the engineer's picture on his wall, he found his reason to continue. And when exam results were announced, he had passed. Not just passed, but topped his district. The same people who laughed at him now came to congratulate him. Yet, Rafiq stayed humble, because he knew this was just the beginning. Years later, Rafiq entered the city to study engineering. The journey wasn't easy. He had to work part-time to pay his fees, deliver newspapers at dawn, and study all night. Many times he felt like giving up, but then he'd close his eyes and hear his father's voice, "Never give up, my son." Finally, after years of hard work, Rafiq graduated as an engineer, the same profession he once admired from afar. On his graduation day, he wore a clean white shirt, stood tall on the stage, and received his degree. His eyes were wet, but his heart was full. When reporters asked about his success, he simply said, "I am not special. I just never gave up, even when life gave up on me." Soon after, he returned to his village, not as the poor tea boy everyone once mocked, but as engineer Rafiq, the pride of his people. He built a small school in the same village where he once stood outside the classroom. And on the school's gate, he wrote just one sentence: "Dreams don't need money. They need courage." Children came running to the new school, holding books, laughing, learning, something Rafiq once dreamed of. Standing there, he looked at the sky and smiled, whispering, "Abba, I did it."